This guy's an insane skill of filling all the cups in one try without spilling, and watch why they call him the infinite aura barista. This guy was given the difficult challenge of bouncing the ball all the way to the top and into this basket at the top, and when he started, he got it to the second level, and at this point the crowd was really into it. Now he was just waiting for the right bounce to get it to the third level, and when he got it, all he had to do was get it up and into the basket without dropping the ball, and with patience and amazing concentration, this happened. This just shows why the intelligent turtle will always beat the quick rabbit, because when they started the race, the rabbit got a huge head start over the turtle, but getting distracted from the goal, the rabbit found a piece of food and started eating it, and while the rabbit was standing still and eating his food, that gave time for the turtle to catch up, and once the turtle passed the rabbit, a woman touched the rabbit, so he would focus on the goal of winning the race, but when the rabbit started moving, he ended up stopping right before the finish line, but with determination and never taking his eyes off the goal, the turtle ended up passing the finish line and winning the race. This guy wanted to see what his cats would do if he put down an illusion mat, so when he opened the door, his cats were immediately shocked and jumped backwards. Then, thinking that there was a hole in the ground, the cats carefully walked to the side of it, making sure not to fall in. This just shows how animals can fall for illusions too. This is a normal day in the Tokyo trains, where it's a challenge to even close the doors of a train. They're basically stuffed all the way to the brim. The workers even have to help push and stuff this man in, so he can even fit into the train. It's crazy to watch. But for commuters here, it's just another normal morning. Dunkin' Donuts once sold something called the Dunkin' Donut, a donut with a small handle designed specifically for dipping into coffee. But over time, it was discontinued because the company didn't have machines capable of cutting that unique shape. Every Dunkin' Donut had to be made by hand, which became too time consuming and costly. Eventually, it was replaced by the standard round donut we all know today, and as the design faded away, so did the tradition of actually dunking donuts into coffee.
There were 100 kids on my street. The second I knocked on the dark house, there was one. Costumes packed both sidewalks, parents on every lawn. A werewolf and 2 Spider-Mans fighting over a king-size bar. My little sister, 2 houses back, dragging a pillowcase too heavy to lift. My grandma gave the same Halloween rule every year, in the same flat voice. A porch with no light isn't handing out candy. A dark porch is waiting for someone to take it. Every other dark porch that night, I walked right past. This one, I didn't. It sat at the very end, past where the crowd thinned out, completely black, no light, no decorations, just a door cracked an inch, and a bowl of full-size bars on the step. The closer I got, the quieter the street behind me went, until I couldn't hear it at all. I reached in and took one black wrapped chocolate. The second it touched my hand, the door swung all the way open. No porch light came on. The smile came out of the dark before the rest of it did. A shape too tall and too still to be a person. "Thank you for taking it," it said. I turned to find my sister. The street was empty. Every kid, every parent, every porch light, gone. The road ran black in both directions, like it ended at the edge of the block. No wind, no sound, just me. Then, dead center in the street, there was a man, very tall, all in black, facing me. I blinked. He was closer. I blinked again. Closer. I never once saw him move. I tried to run, and my legs felt like wet cement, and my grandma's voice came back, looping. "A dark porch is waiting for someone to take it." I looked down. The chocolate was still in my fist. I threw it back at that cracked door as hard as I could. Every streetlight slammed on at once. The sound crashed back. Kids screaming, laughing. My sister yelling my name. 2 houses down like nothing happened. I never told her. But the next morning, there was a single black wrapper stuck to my window, on the inside of the glass.
When this guy ordered a really expensive wine, the waiter didn't serve it the normal way. Instead of pouring it right away, he brought the bottle upside down in a bucket of water. Everyone thought it was a mistake until the bottle was open. The wine is actually uncorked underwater to remove leftover yeast from the fermentation process without disturbing the drink. Have you ever seen wine served like this before? In China, this girl constantly runs into human statues. So to test whether they're real, she sticks her finger right into their mouth, and if they still don't react, she casually sips her juice in front of them before suddenly pouring it straight into the statue's mouth. That's when she realized this one wasn't a statue at all. It was a real man standing perfectly still. For hundreds of years, people have traveled here just to kiss this famous famous stone. The tradition began in the late 1500s when Queen Elizabeth I demanded control of the castle. Its owner, Cormac McCarthy, used his quick wit and charm to delay her time and time again until she finally gave up. His gift of persuasion became legendary, and ever since, visitors have kissed the Blarney Stone, hoping to gain a touch of that same eloquence and silver-tongued luck for themselves. When this guy decided to crawl into an ultra-narrow crack behind a waterfall, he had no idea it would turn into the scariest moment of his life. After squeezing his entire body inside, he suddenly stopped responding. Panicking, his friends jumped into the water to rescue him, but when the second guy went in, he didn't come back out either. The cameraman waited, terrified, almost jumping in himself, until he suddenly heard shouting from the other side. That's when they realized the impossible had happened. The two friends had passed each other inside the crack and literally switched places without even knowing it. These two men jump into a giant bucket filled with water, and a guy starts pouring oil across the surface. Once it's completely coated, he grabs a stick, lights it on fire, and sets the entire bucket ablaze. But this isn't just for show, it's part of a joint emergency training test in Brazil, designed for both divers and firefighters. The goal is to see how they perform under extreme pressure when every second counts. As the flames spread and the smoke builds, divers are trapped below, while firefighters race to respond. The heat, the panic, and the countdown make it one of the most intense rescue drills imaginable, and luckily they reach the bucket just in time to save them. This man was tricking everyone by showing off what looks like a magical tap floating in midair. People walked around it from every angle, completely convinced that it was somehow suspended by magic. To make it even more believable, he touched the stream of running water to prove it was real. But then came the twist. What nobody noticed at first was that a clear transparent pipe was hidden inside. Look, when this footballer scored the winning goal, he celebrated with a slide, but he was so hyped that he kept sliding farther and farther, all the way off the field. Not only that, he ended up shooting straight into a tunnel and still didn't stop. This man was given a strange challenge: eat as much free ice as he could. But there was one catch: no cup, no container, nothing. He accepted instantly and just started scooping it straight into his mouth. While most people could only last a few seconds from the cold, he kept going non-stop. If you love ice cream, this would probably be your dream challenge. Freezing paintballs is highly illegal. It might seem harmless at first, but it actually makes them way more dangerous. Normally, paintballs are soft, so they burst on impact and don't cause real harm. But once they're exposed to freezing temperatures, the shell can harden and hit much harder than intended. Some people think paintballs won't freeze, but if they get cold enough, they can definitely lead to serious skin injuries. This is what happens when you master Frisbee to perfection. This guy is a freestyle pro, pulling off tricks that look like they break the laws of physics. And the craziest part, he can do the same moves with something as small as a bottle cap. Fans have even started calling him the Frisbee Ronaldo. Do you think he's earned that title? This guy was born with his fingers fused together, and it always grabs people's attention. He can't move them separately, but it doesn't really bother him. Both of his hands are the same way, and his girlfriend, who has OCD, sometimes even tries to separate them with her nails. When it comes to wearing a ring, he has to get custom ones made wide enough to fit his fused fingers. Everyone hates them because of this. These guys created a completely new way to build houses by designing wooden boards shaped like giant Lego pieces. Each panel locks perfectly into place, with no screws, no nails, and almost no tools. But here's what made their competitors furious. These homes cost only about $3,000 to build, so now everyone is buying from them instead. Remember Samuel? The guy who can stick to almost any surface? Well, his hands became so rough that people started telling him he should try swimming to soften them up, but that only made things stranger. Instead of just relaxing in the pool, Samuel began training skills that seem almost impossible. He learned how to control his buoyancy in the water without even exhaling. And the craziest part is that he's trained his eyes to handle the chlorine without any goggles. This is one of the hardest jobs in Dubai. Only a few people in the world can do it because it's extremely risky. The job is to dip bottles into wax heated to over 1,000 degrees. The first time, everything goes perfectly. On the second dip, they carefully wait for the top layer to dry before continuing. But the next day, when they try it again, something goes wrong.